if you're not on the same page, if you're not seeing God in the whole thing, if you don't see that this is the enemy's ploy, that the strain on the marriage comes in there. Help the people this strain is just tearing at them and making them want the wife ain't even going to the building no more, or they driving 2 cars. Like, come on, speak on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, certainly been there. Certainly been there, and have that personal experience. Let me say that um, it's almost difficult to explain to people who are not entrenched in ministry
Mm.
what toll ministry takes on a marriage. Um, to a person who casually attends church, or to a person who is casually invested in ministry or invested, and I'm not saying they're not Christians. I'm not saying they're not faithful. What I am saying is that when your life is not submerged in ministry, then you are subsequently shielded from the toll and the effect that ministry has on you.
Mm.
Right? When you work for the church, right? When your livelihood is attached to the church,
Mm.
when your family is front street,
Mm-hmm.
um, front and center, when they're judging how your children are dressed, when they're
Mm.
judging how your wife is dressed or how the preacher is dressed, when they're judging the car that you drive, and they're
Mercy.
judging, every iota of your life, how you speak, whether you visited this person in the hospital, or whether you were at this program, or you understand what I'm saying? That's a
Mm.
level of critique that the average member does not experience. And so it becomes difficult to even explain what kind of stress that is,
Mm.
because they have no framework to even understand that concept. And so when you then are under that level of scrutiny, and when you're under that level of observation, and you have a husband who is the pastor, and a wife who is the pastor's wife,
Mm-hmm.
there is a level of division there, just because ministry creates that division. For
Mm.
example, there are things that I know about people and marriages and relationships and their morality and their ethics. And there are things that I become privy to that I could never share with my wife. There are tidbits of information that could affect my family and the future of my family, but I've got to determine when it's appropriate to share and how it's appropriate to share.
Mm.
I mean, there are so many layers to this thing. And so one of the things that Shauna and I have had to work on and work through and work with, and still working on it and through it and with it, is that whenever I become disconnected, it doesn't always have anything to do with her or the children.
Mm.
It could be that the stress of ministry is affecting me, right? Whenever I'm short with my words, um,
Mm.
it's not always because I'm mad with somebody in the house. It is because I'm in a moment of reflection about ministry, right? Whenever I am experiencing moments when insecurity sets in. It is not always something that she can fill the void of. It is that the very nature of ministry causes preachers in particular to have moments of reflection. And I can almost speak for my wife, and I'll hush and let her talk for her, but let me just say this, that there are also moments when Shauna has to be discerning about what relationships that she can engage in the church. Just because a woman wants a relationship doesn't mean that Shauna will give her a relationship, right? And then, there's a number of reasons for that, but that is also to be said, that there's an assessment that is done on relationships in the body of Christ and who you have those with. And you have to gauge the propensity of that person to hurt you, right? And so you find yourself, and oh man, let me hush, but you find yourself in these moments where you have to be a listening ear for people that you can't talk to. So yeah, let me just slow down and say the dynamic of people who are entrenched in ministry isn't the same as the person who just goes to church.
Oh boy.
It's completely different.
Totally.
Yeah. All right, I'm done.